You are standing in front of someone you have met before, maybe twice, maybe 3 times, and their name, the one thing you were supposed to hold on to, is simply gone. Not hiding somewhere in the back of your mind, not sitting at the tip of your tongue, waiting to be pulled forward. Just absent, like it was never written down anywhere inside you in the first place. And the worst part, the part nobody talks about, isn't even the forgetting itself. It's the 12 seconds that follow, that silent, desperate theater you perform, subtly shifting your body. Praying someone else in the room says their name first, hoping their phone rings. Hoping, for one wild moment, that something, anything, interrupts this moment before you have to admit what happened. We've all been there, but for some people this isn't a rare slip, it's a pattern. A quiet, recurring failure that follows them from every office corridor to every family gathering, every reunion, every first impression. And over time, something darker starts to grow underneath it. Not just embarrassment, but a slow, quiet belief. Maybe I just don't care enough. Maybe something is wrong with me. Here is what I want you to understand before we go any further. That belief is not the truth. It is just the story your brain defaulted to because no one ever handed you a better one. Because there is something very specific happening inside the minds of people who forget names chronically. Something that has nothing to do with carelessness, nothing to do with intelligence, and everything to do with how certain brains are wired to experience the world around them. So let's go there. When you meet someone for the first time, your brain is not simply listening. It is doing something closer to conducting an orchestra all at once, without a rehearsal. It is reading their face, registering their tone, calculating the social distance between you and them, deciding whether you are safe, deciding whether they like you, deciding whether you like them, wondering if your handshake was too firm, if your eye contact is too much or too little, if the pause in your sentence sounded strange. And into the middle of all of that noise, that beautiful, overwhelming cognitive chaos, someone drops a sound into your hands. Hi, I'm Kevin. Kevin, okay, Kevin, but here's the thing about Kevin. Kevin doesn't mean anything. It has no texture, no color, no door. It unlocks inside your memory. It connects to nothing you already carry. It is, by its very nature, an arbitrary label, a sound assigned to a person before they had done a single thing worth associating it with. And your brain, brilliant and efficient and ruthlessly selective, looks at that isolated syllable and quietly decides, this is not worth protecting. Psychologists actually have a name for this phenomenon. In 1987, researchers McWeeny and Ellis introduced what is now called the Baker-Baker paradox. They showed participants a photograph of a man and told one group he was a baker, as in the profession. They told another group that Baker was simply his surname. Days later, the people who learned the occupation recalled it with ease. The people who learned it as a name, it had mostly dissolved, same word, completely different fate inside the brain. Because the word baker as a job arrives with an entire world attached to it, flour on hands, warm bread. Early mornings, the smell of something rising. Your brain wraps the word in meaning, and meaning is what memory holds onto. But as a name, as just a label, it floats there unattached, rootless, and rootless things don't survive long in a mind that is already overwhelmed. This is not a flaw. This is simply how memory was built. Your brain was never designed to be a filing cabinet. It was designed to be a survival system, one that stores what matters, what moves, what connects, what threatens, what comforts. High emotion, stored. Surprising detail, stored. something that links to what you already know, stored immediately, almost effortlessly. But one arbitrary syllable handed to you at the exact moment. Your nervous system is busy trying to seem normal in front of a stranger. That was always going to be a losing battle, and yet the shame stays. It settles into you quietly, like dust on a shelf you forgot to clean. You start avoiding situations where you might have to introduce someone. You over-apologize, you shrink. You start to believe that forgetting a name is proof of something deeper, proof that you are somehow less present, less caring, less there than everyone else seems to be. But here is the reframe that changes everything. There is a phenomenon called the next in line effect, documented by psychologist Malcolm Brenner, where people anticipating their turn to speak remember almost nothing said by the person directly before them because mentally they had already moved on. They were rehearsing, editing, preparing. And people who live with social anxiety or even just a quietly hyperactive self-awareness exist in that state almost permanently. Never fully here, always half a step ahead into what might go wrong. So you don't have a memory problem. You have a preoccupation problem, and those are very, very different things. Because while you were busy forgetting their name, you were remembering everything else. The way they laughed, the thing they said about their sister, the look on their face when something touched them. Your brain wasn't absent. It was just cataloging what it considered more real. The person underneath the label, not the label itself. And maybe that's not a flaw in your wiring. Maybe that's just a different kind of attention, a deeper one. The kind that sees people not as names to be filed, but as feelings to be understood. If that resonates with something quiet inside you, you are not alone in this. And you never were.